All right. How many of you have had a chance to catch up with the Love and Marriage Huntsville? I told you I'll be reviewing this season because there's a lot and lots of lessons in this season. I told you. So I'm gonna do some quick reviews. Just a few lessons I wanted to extract out of this last episode, and then we'll take it from there. Let's see here. Just a few lessons that I wanted to extract. Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's the name of the show. It's on Holmes Network. Anybody get a chance? Chance? I said chance. Huntsville. So they're on season 6, episode 3 right now. Let me share my screen. Share the screen. There you go. All right. So this is Letitia. This episode is called Hasta Tisha, baby. Well, if you remember on the last episode, okay, or you didn't get a chance, don't worry. I'll bring you up to speed. The lessons are the lessons, you know. Remember I told you she was making up with her cousin, this cousin right here. You know, one of the things I talk about here, people, it's very important that you understand that the skills you're learning here will be applicable in every types of relationships, especially relationships where you're not getting a paycheck on Friday. Sometimes relationship with your siblings, okay, relationship with your siblings. So with your cousins, you know, that cousin that gets on your nerve, sometimes you have to play a fool. But you are playing a fool. It's a play. But you also know they are going back home. You're not sleeping in bed with them every day. So it's a little bit slightly different, but similar, similar idea. But let me share my screen right now. That's the cousin right there. That's cousin of Letitia. Let me see. Okay, so you didn't. I am not familiar with the show. It's called Love and Marriage Huntsville. It's on Owns Network. You can find it on YouTube here too. Like this one right now is on YouTube. I'm not gonna play it, but I'm just gonna scroll through the scenes and then extract some of the lessons. Okay, that I remember. This is one of the shows I watch with my wife. All right. So this guy is called Marcel. That's Marcel right there. Marcel hanging out with his father. Okay, Marcel is one of the husbands of the main couple of the show, hanging out with his father. I'm gonna turn on the caption so I can get some of the words. Okay, they were grabbing a smoke together. Okay, I think that's a good thing. Okay, not the smoke, just the fact that they're hanging out together, having a conversation. And he told his son, "It's like, I'm proud of you," right? He said, "I'm proud of you," and he was like, "Thanks, Dad." Let me tell you something. The children need their dad, okay? Now I'm saying that I'm focusing on the dad because I know typically they have their mom, but they need both parents is really the point, okay? What is he saying here? I don't want my kids. He had to work hard and he's trying to tell them to calm down with all the work. He's not listening, by the way. Marcel, this guy has coconut head. Okay, he has coconut head. He doesn't listen. So he's working so hard, gathering all that money. They're trying to tell him, you need to calm down, enjoy that money. And he's like, oh, there's no time to rest right now. The father's like, listen, I worked all my life. I wish, he said he worked, I forgot how many years he said, you know, but at least he has his dad to keep reminding him. Sometimes we all have coconut head. We have people in our lives that can keep reminding us, right? Let me see here. All right, so that was that scene. Now this one's, they keep bringing up issues. These are ladies. Oh, rain. The drama never ends, right? It never ends, right? See, I wasn't privy to. Sometimes my wife would be like, "Ha, you don't know women." She tells me that, I'm like, "What's the big deal?" She's like, after a while, when I started watching some of these shows with her, she's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, because me, I give benefit of the doubt easily, right? I can just see. I'm actively looking for your Momo button. Okay, that's me. That's why it's kind of easy for me to teach this as well. I'm actively, because I know everybody cares about something. Every one of us will care about something. Whatever it is that people care about is directly correlated with their Momo button. Okay, it could be their children. Okay, but you can. By the way, it can be used for good, both bad and evil. Sorry, but both good and evil. Of course, I encourage you to use it for good, right? So, because we're also speaking power language now, right? So they get together, and as usual, it was mostly arguments, talking about how they've offended each other, what you said last year, what you said a few months ago that affected me, somebody taking sides, a lot of drama. Okay, so the main issue with these ones are like, Yale and Yawo, meaning they're both married to brothers, right? Their husbands are brothers to each other, okay, like actual blood brothers. So they've had their ups and downs. Ladies, spa, what do you guys, spa date, what do you call it? Going on a spa with your friends, whatever you want to call it, right? I thought the idea was to go there and relax, right? Well, anyway, it's not like that. All right, so this is a very good scene. This is what I mean by the kids need their father, right? So this is Letitia, and they're sitting together at a dining table having dinner. This is their son. He's about the same age as my son. And what did he say? He said something to the effect that the wife is barely home to cook these days. And the son is like, why would you let your spouse ever talk to you like that? Or something like that. He said. The son said that. And it's like, why would you take your mom's side? See, when you're looking at that when you're looking at that, like that whole scenery playing out, right? It seems like the children care about their mother. I experienced the same thing with me, right? Just before I came downstairs to come and be doing this live session with you all, my daughter was crying, okay? Because literally I've been out all day and I just came in and, I'm like, no, I got to do a show tonight. Like, I'll be hanging out with you in the morning, right? But she was crying, But that's not always the case. Sometimes they are more attached to their mother and it seems like that's just what it is and all they need is their mother. And that's not true. That's a misconception, You need to pay attention to, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't see, right? But these kids, if something happens and their father is not going to be in their life, it's going to affect them. The idea of a father is the rock. He's always there. It seems like it's not really appreciated, right? Because, hey, it's just dad, right? He's highly appreciated. He's needed. It makes everyone around them feel safe, including the woman, if he's behaving, of course, right? But the idea, the presence of him makes them feel safe, right? Makes them feel like there's a man around the house. The idea is not to coddle him and you can see that in the way we celebrate Mother's Day and the way we celebrate Father's Day. We're not supposed to complain about that. It's just what it is, right? But wait until the father is no longer in the picture, right? Some of the things we have to pay attention to. So after the kids got up, they're still talking about the dynamics of their family, right? They're talking about the dynamics of she's working, he's not working. She's owning a big chunk of their business, right? But she's not really involved in the day-to-day operation. You're fantasizing about doing business with your husband. That's not always fun, just so you know. Okay, that's not always fun. You're fantasizing about, I want to get out there, I want to be participating. Like, sure. By the way, if she wants to do that, by all means, create an avenue for her to exercise. Being active too, right? But long term, she's going to need to fall back on you. Okay, because remember, at the end of the day, it's about mental, it's about emotional, right? It's not about what it really looks like, but sometimes you have to demonstrate that you're open to ideas for them to feel safe. Okay, I experienced the same thing too. We started Lola and Ola about 2018. Lola and Ola is the platform is older than Man of Prestige, which is just about 6 months old. Like, she's excited, yeah, Then when the work don't land, the reality kicks in. So after a while, I realized that, if she's excited, yeah, sure, let's do this. Once my expectations are managed. Manage your expectations, okay? So, but I think it's cute that you want to work together in the same business. You want to do a project together. I think when things start to play out, the idea of playing a fool really start to show up, right? Like, that's not what she said before. Yes, that's because she didn't feel what she's feeling right now. Welcome to the real world. Okay, it goes both ways, but mostly it's women. Women will tell you how they feel right now, what they want to make happen right now, and how they're feeling right now. And then 2 days from now, you're like wondering, that's not what you said. Like, yeah, welcome to the real world. Okay. When it comes to the motherly duty, for the most part, you don't really have to worry about that. They got that. It's natural, the nurturing aspect of the family. The making everything beautiful. You set the tone and she builds the home. You never really have to worry about that as long as you're focused on setting the tone. Just keep in mind that setting the tone is also a moving target. Okay. Now, why would you do that? It's kind of like, why would you get into a marriage that's hard? Why would you play a fool? Why would you, quote unquote, seduce, right? It's because a woman who is multiplying and reciprocating is the sweetest thing you can have in the world. If you're patient enough to go through that process, especially in the beginning, or you're going through some crisis and you're trying to come out of that crisis, that's the most beautiful thing you can get in the world. So it's worth it. And yes, your patience will be tested. Okay. So that's let me see if there's anything else I'm trying to figure out here. Yeah, the spa dates, women's stuff. I don't really care about that. All right. Except that, ladies, you need to understand that, again, with your friends, this whole relationship thing is always playing out. Sometimes you just have to wait and be patient with what people are saying, right? Sometimes you just have to know people for who they are and leave it alone, especially if they will go back home at night or maybe in the next 3 days. You just have to be a little bit patient. Okay. Let's see. So this particular episode, there's not much around marriage. There's not much. Let me see. If people are talking about their cousins, this lady you're looking at right now, she decided to chime in on the issue between Tisha and her cousin. You can see Tisha is the one on our right here. She's talking to her cousin. They're talking their issue out. And then a complete stranger, they're friends on the show, she decided to chime in. She decided to chime in and start basically instigating more trouble and say, you should have done that to your cousin. You should have who called you into this matter? Let me tell you something. People might look like they are fighting each other. It could be a husband, a wife. It could be be careful with butting into people's issues, okay? If they're not physically fighting each other, you don't have to jump in the middle. You just have to know how to separate yourself, especially when they seem closer. We're talking about family or their husband and wife, and let them talk it out, okay? If they haven't invited you into it, you're not helping either of the party by taking sides. You're making things worse, okay? And then last, if you don't listen to that, you go kwambuku. So that's all from this episode. Again, go find it. I think you will get some more insights from me just watching the show. It's on YouTube. If you want to ask me for it on the community page anyway, I'll drop the link there for you. But this is actually an episode of it. It's only 40 minutes. Watch it. I think there's some real lessons in it. You can see these things that we're talking about playing out. Real life example. Reason why I like covering it is because they are real life examples. Okay. And as opposed to just a bunch of generalized nonsense that everybody's pushing around the internet. Okay. So I've got a few more that I want to cover tonight. And